Imagine waking up to a world where a single tweet from the White House could ground planes across an entire nation, strangle drug cartels in mid-air, and push two countries to the brink of conflict. That's exactly what's unfolding right now with President Donald Trump's bombshell declaration on Venezuela's airspace. On November 29, 2025, Trump fired off a post on Truth Social stating that the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela is closed in its entirety, a direct warning to airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers alike. This isn't just rhetoric, it's a seismic shift in U.S. policy that's igniting fears of military escalation in Latin America. Trump's message was blunt and unapologetic. To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Despite no official U.S. directive actually closing the skies, international airways remain technically open. The president's words carry massive weight, potentially scaring off commercial flights and isolating Venezuela further. Coming hot on the heels of vows for U.S. land strikes very soon, this feels like the prelude to something much bigger. Why now? Tensions have been simmering for months. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, long labeled a narco-terrorist by the Trump administration, clings to power amid economic collapse and accusations of facilitating drug trafficking and human smuggling. Trump's move ramps up pressure on Maduro's regime, which has already faced U.S. naval intercepts off its coast, resulting in deadly clashes. As one report notes, this airspace warning could deter airlines from risking operations in the region, effectively achieving a de facto shutdown without firing a shot. To grasp the stakes, rewind to Venezuela's nightmare. Once Latin America's richest nation thanks to vast oil reserves, it's now a humanitarian disaster under Maduro. Hyperinflation, mass starvation, and millions fleeing as refugees have defined his rule since 2013. The U.S. sees Maduro's government as a hub for cocaine shipments north and a safe haven for traffickers exploiting the Caribbean routes. Trump's administration isn't mincing words. Earlier authorizations allowed the CIA to run covert ops inside Venezuela, including potential lethal missions against Maduro's inner circle, a presidential finding that's blurred lines between intelligence and warfare. U.S. forces have already sunk boats in international waters, killing dozens suspected of drug runs. Maduro fires back, calling it bellicose aggression aimed at stealing Venezuela's oil, and is hauling it to the UN Security Council, economic weaponry. Sanctions have crippled Venezuela's oil exports, but Trump's airspace play hits mobility directly. Drug war focus. Labeling traffickers alongside airlines underscores the narco angle. Maduro's allies accused of flooding U.S. streets with fentanyl precursors and coke. Refugee crisis. Over 7 million Venezuelans displaced. Closing skies could trap more in misery or force riskier escapes. This is vintage Trump, bold, unilateral, and tweet first. Since his 2025 inauguration, he's revived the maximum pressure campaign that defined his first term. No more kid gloves, diplomatic talks halted, $50 million bounty on Maduro's head for drug charges, and now airspace Armageddon. Allies like Senator Marco Rubio, Trump's national security advisor, push the narrative of Maduro as illegitimate. But legality? The U.S. can't legally shutter another sovereign's airspace, yet Trump's clout with global carriers might make it stick. Airlines could reroute, spiking costs and stranding Venezuela economically. Fears mount of all-out war over Venezuela's drug gangs, with U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean. Reports swirl of Trump officials eyeing land strikes and covert CIA hits. Venezuela's response. Silence so far on the airspace bomb, but expect fury. Caracas views this as regime change theater, a grab for black gold while cloaked in anti-drug zeal. Live updates from Al Jazeera highlight surging tensions, with Trump doubling down. Zoom out, this isn't isolated. Trump's Venezuela crusade ties into his global war on cartels, echoing Mexico ops but with higher stakes. China and Russia, Maduro's patrons, watch warily. Beijing props up PDVSA oil, Moscow supplies arms. A U.S. strike could drag superpowers into proxy mess, spiking oil prices worldwide. Venezuela holds 300 billion barrels in reserves. Regionally, Colombia and Brazil brace for refugee waves and border flare-ups. Globally, airlines scramble. Expect flight cancellations from American Airlines, Delta, LATAM. Premium routes to Caracas already ghosts. Markets dipped on the news, with oil futures twitching. Allies' reactions. UK, EU urge de-escalation. Brazil's Lula warns of imperialism. Opposition voices. Venezuelan exiles cheer, seeing it as Maduro's endgame. Risks ahead, if a plane ignores the warning. Incident sparks shooting war. Buckle up, this could explode fast. Will airlines comply, starving Maduro's regime? Will US jets enforce the closure, leading to dogfights? Or does Maduro blink, negotiating from weakness? Trump's hinted at talks but prioritizes ouster. CIA ops expand, military options on table. For the US, success means curbing drugs flooding streets, failure invites quagmire like Afghanistan 2.0. Venezuela's people, crushed longest, hang in balance, freedom or further hell. As Sky News puts it, Trump's closed the skies, now the world holds breath. Stay tuned, if strikes hit, it'll redefine hemispheric power. What do you think, bold genius or reckless gamble? Drop comments below, smash like if you're tracking this, subscribe for daily geo breaks. Share to wake folks up.